If you would have told me 3 weeks ago that I would have been cutting a 100 plus player tournament with Eternatus Tinkaton, I would have called you insane. However, that is exactly what happened in last night's Himi Turner tournament, and Eternatus Tinkaton has been insane. In fact, my friends were trying to get me to run it, aka Nicholas Borgi and Crystal Ninetails. I do have them on call. I'll get to them in just a second. But if you would have told me that I was bringing this team to the tour, I would have called you crazy. I was sending them numerous messages saying, hey guys, this team is crazy. This team sucks. How am I supposed to win with this team? And yet, then again, I took it into the tournament, managed to get second place. So of course, guys, we're not alone. I wasn't doing this team report alone. I had to bring on the creators of the team. Borgie, Chris, how are y'all doing today? Welcome on in.
I'm doing phenomenal. I'm very tired. It was so good watching this, Matt. Watching your stream.
Yeah, you're great. It was really impressive watching you play.
Yeah. For some background here, we are recording this at 1 a.m., so all of us are just absolutely gassed right now. But anyways, Eternatus Tinkaton. So you guys came at me with the concept. What was the concept here? Because I came along this morning and you guys were like, hey, Specs Eternatus Tinkaton is funny. I said you guys are insane, and then I brought it to a second place. So what's the concept here?
Chris, you start. You're the one who came to me with the idea.
Yeah, sure. So Eternatus is very good into the common balance cores, and the poison damage is actually very good. Not many things resist it or otherwise, are immune to it. Steel types are basically, Zacian, Zamazenta. The odd, can get better there. There's not a lot of things that are immune to it, and it's like the rare Groudon, Lando Eye, Blood Moon. So you're actually just hitting a lot of things for neutral damage. And with all the grass types running around right now, you got Rillaboom, the Ogerpon. It just hits a lot of things very effectively. And you've got good coverage. It's pretty fast, pretty bulky, and it does really well into a lot of different teams.
Nice. So basically it's poison damage go burr, and I pretty much figured that out about halfway through the tournament that I really just needed to start sending poison damage. And I'm telling you, when I say that I clicked Terra Poison Helping Hand from the Tinkaton into this Eternatus and clicked Sledge Wave more often than I probably should have, or more often than that should really be allowed, I clicked it way more often than it should be legal to do. And I was just one-shotting things. People were switching in Amoonguses, they were dying. Incineroars were dying. Terrapagoses were taking 90. What's the switching? What? That's not a switching. I can tell you right now that is not a switching. That ain't a switching. That ain't a switching. Alright, they should honestly remove the board. Tinkaton good? Yes, no? Bye! Absolutely insane, the damage output from this Eternatus. And like you said, there was no switch-ins. So, we're opting for Sludge Bomb, Dynamax Cannon, Flamethrower, and Sludge Wave. I clicked Flamethrower once, and it was in a match I had already lost. So I don't know why it's there, but, I mean, I just clicked Sludge Bomb, Dynamax Cannon 90% of the time. Is that what I'm assuming that's correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much correct. One of the big things is just it's technically there, I guess, for Zamazenta as a coverage move.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what you would put over it, but there's probably options.
There's something, yeah. No, I think Flamethrower just makes sense, right? You don't want to see the steel types, something to hit the steel types. It checks out. I'm assuming this spread, you guys came to me with the spread. I'm assuming this is faster than Torn, send damage, and left over into HP.
Pretty much that. It's basically just, yeah, we wanted to outrun Ogerpon, but
Okay.
we can't do that without speed tying our own Tornadus, so we ran one faster and just said we're gonna have Eternatus faster than Tornadus.
Okay.
Yeah. As much damage as possible, and then the 20 HP actually lives a Annihilate Final Gambit as well. Oh.
I like it. And I'm going to be honest, the speed tiers messed me up. I was in the kitchen one of my rounds, and I just led Torn Eternatus, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to Bleak Wind, I'm going to Sludge Wave. They clicked Dazzling Gleam first. Torn lost its Focus Sash. I clicked Sludge Wave, and I lost to Torn, and that was one of the rounds I lost, and it was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that part.
That's really funny. That's really
Yeah, that was one of the games I lost in this tournament. One of the three, actually. But, you know, moving on right along here, we've got the Tinkaton, and I think this is one of the highlights of the team in the Tinkaton because I was surprised at how good Tinkaton actually was for me. So what do you guys have to say? Like, the spread is wild. I have no clue what's happening there. But Gigaton, Helping Hand, obviously very, very solid. What was the concept behind Tinkaton on this?
So with Tinkaton, when I started out, I was looking King Gambit first because I wanted a steel type that would be immune to Sludge Wave, so I could have good pressure there. But King Gambit didn't really work out. It didn't really do what I was wanting out of the slot here. So Borgie came to me with Tinkaton. It's like, hey, Tinkaton's pretty cool mon. It gets fake out. It gets pretty good things. You can do like the Mold Breaker fake out into Farigiraf. Helping Hand is there, which really boosts Eternatus damage. And Gigaton Hammer is really good and stuff like the Karax Ice Rider. It does, I think, about 60% to roll them too. So it's good, pretty consistent damage.
For sure, and then obviously fake out, you get to go Mold Breaker, so you get to go fake out through the Farigiraf, Armor Tail, through the Serena, Queenly Majesty, stuff like that has actually come up tons of times. I won a game, one of the game ones, I just clicked fake out, they let instant Farigiraf, I clicked fake out, they clicked fake out, we traded fake outs, and the next turn I just said, Helping Hand, Terra Poison, Sludge Bomb, remove the Giraffe and the instant from the board immediately. So just being able to trade fake outs in a scenario where I wasn't able to trade fake outs before is actually surprisingly good. Turns out Mold Breaker, when you can ignore opponent's abilities, is good. Who would have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought being able to fake
Who
out?
would have thought? It's like clicking Surging Strikes and going through Protect.
Yeah, it's really quite impressive.
Okay, real talk. What's going on with this spread here?
Okay, so for the bulk here, that lives the Karax Ice Rider high horsepower,
Nice.
which was because when we first tried out Tinkaton, it took a lot of damage from Karax, and we're like, okay, this is definitely something we need to dedicate some EVs to.
Yep.
The speed, if I'm remembering correctly, that outspeeds Scarf Chi-Yu in Tailwind, and then the attack is 1 over the bump, so it basically just whatever how you have left to dedicate to your attack step.
Fair enough. I like it.
Yeah. Also, the Tinkaton creeps our Rillaboom, which also creeps our Shifu, which all creeps Turbo Ensign.
Yeah, so I think the Tinkaton is 126, Rillaboom is 125, and Urshifu is 124, if I have that correct, which is kind of funny. Those speed tiers are hilarious. It's very nice, I've actually noticed, in a tournament and going into a game 1 or a game 2 and then realizing, oh, my Tinkaton outpaced. So naturally, Rillaboom is either going to be speed tying or faster. Or you can just use that and get information that your opponent just doesn't know that you have. And it is very, very strong. I mean, Clear Amulet was cool, not being able to lower our attack stat on our horrid attack stat anyways to begin with. Just allowed Gigaton Hammer to do what Gigaton Hammer did. I don't know if it's necessarily the correct item. I would probably look into that if I was running this team back. I don't think it really made too much of a difference. But overall, I mean, it worked out tonight. I'm not going to complain about it. Torn is this just, I'm assuming this is just a Torn Terra Steel to, be funny. Be funny beside Eternatus if you have the option to Terra the Torn, and then you just cook. It's just a Sash Torn, right? There's nothing crazy here.
Yeah, one of the big things when I'm building with Chris is that he'll give me ideas, and then I turn them. I like put the rest of the supporting cast. So like Steel type plus Eternatus is something he came to me with, and then I kind of filled out the rest of it to make it into like a team as opposed to just an idea.
All right, and it worked. Clearly, it worked. You got the team out of it.
Yeah, the Tornadus is just Tailwind bot. It's Sash, so you have an option to just Sludge Wave next to your own Tornadus if you really need to. I don't suggest it, but if you need to, it's there.
Yep.
And then you also have Terra Steel if you want to, and then you just have that option as well. And so I think the Torn is just, it's very straightforward. It's very solid.
I agree, and I mean, it's going to be similar stuff when we get to the Instant and the Urshifu, right? There's not a lot to be said. We've seen Instant Urshifu do Instant Urshifu things for, I think, 3 formats in Scarlet and Violet now, right? But moving on, speaking to the one piece that's probably a little more insane, and that's going to be the Choice Band Rillaboom here. And Damage Go Burr, Grassy Glide is funny, Woodhammer is funny, and then you cycle around with U-Turn High Horsepower. It was a very good mon for me tonight. It did everything I wanted it to do. It was getting the knockouts. I clicked U-turn. I called it Terra Grass on the Kyogre. I clicked U-turn in top 4. It ended up U-turning. I did 90% to the Grass Kyogre. And I was like, oh, I don't mind if I do. Right? Like, I don't mind that at all. And then, honestly, spread is just looks like speed attack and surprisingly less attack than I thought that we had on this thing. Like, the damage output that was coming out from this Rillaboom, I was just figuring it was max HP, max attack. So seeing the bulk here is wild.
Yeah, the Rillaboom was originally just an AV Rillaboom, and then Stefan was like, why is the Rillaboom even here? You don't need triple fake out. So we replaced the Rillaboom, and then we immediately lost to a Miraidon team, and we're like, no, Rillaboom has to be here. And so I was like, well, what do we do then if it has to be a Rillaboom? And
here it is.
We don't fake out, so Choice Band. Why not?
Yeah, here it is. Honestly, it was surprisingly good. Like, I was taking knockouts, and honestly, the bulk that I had, I think, went a long way as well. And I know I'm talking like I have no clue what's happening on the team. And guys, the fact of the matter is I didn't. I picked up this team about 2 o'clock today, and they were like, trust us? Do you trust us? And I was like, yeah, sure, I trust you guys. And it ended up working out, right? So, like, when I say I was figuring out this team as I was playing the tournament, I was quite literally figuring out this team as I was playing the tournament. And, I mean, like you said, it's a Rillaboom at the end of the day. Obviously, we opted for a very offensive variant. Other than that, nothing too crazy. Also, back to your triple fake out point. Triple fake out would have been incredibly funny had I pulled, like, a Dondozo matchup. Fake out switch, fake out switch, fake out switch, fake out switch. GG.
When you win on timer because the Dondozo is
yeah, the Dozo just cannot move for the rest of the game. Also, triple fake out beside Urshifu, is that really overkill?
No, there's never enough. No.
There's never enough, right? Just get the pivot all the time. And now we go into the Urshifu. Pretty bulky Urshifu, but go ahead and speak.
I'll let Chris take this one.
Sure. So for this Urshifu, definitely want a bit more bulk on this one here because we already have the Eternatus here for speed control, and we kind of like have the. It's not like a frail team, but there's not like a ton of really strong bulk there. So what we have helps. This one here hits the bump. It gets some nice things. 124 here outspeeds the Turbo Ensign, which, okay. The water is really good here because we want the good resist here for the Calyrex Ice Rider. It also works, decently well into Kyogre and some other stuff that Eternatus, doesn't mind too much. Groudon's pretty good. I mean, Sun is unfortunate, but we have Torn, so it's not too big of a deal. Probably the best in slot. Most of the waters aren't that great, so Urshifu is just really good and really consistent.
Yep, checks out. For sure. I mean, it's just an Urshifu at the end of the day. I mean, you hit the steel types and the ground types that the Eternatus doesn't want to deal with. I think the synergy there is perfect. Nothing really to talk about. Taunt was fraudulent. I didn't click it once.
What do you mean you never clicked it? You never found yourself like, yo, I want to stop that.
I did think about it one set going into a Cali Ice Rider, and I was like, I could lead Ursh. I could pressure with Taunt. But, like, I just never found myself actually committing to that line. I'd rather just send damage off with my Urshifu. And I did miss, like, an Aqua Jet here in this slot, I'm going to be honest. Terra Ghost was fun. Never really came up outside of just kind of scaring my opponents a little bit to maybe stop a fake out or not click fake out into me. Just giving me more turns to go ahead and click my Surging Strikes. In fact, I actually managed to force an instant to Terra Water because they were scared I was going to Terra Ghost and Surging Strikes them, and they popped their Terra turn 1, and I was able to just cycle around the end of the game because of it, and they just wasted their Terra because they were scared of me going Ghost, right? And it was pretty strong overall. I'm happy with the piece. Once again, we'll slide on over here. Instant just wrapped things up pretty naturally here. There's nothing too crazy going on here. Just your Terra Ghost, your safety goggles. This is actually the same Incineroar, very similar Incineroar that I brought to Indianapolis with me. And Nothing crazy. It's just good stuff. You get knockoff. You don't necessarily need blitz. Will-O-Wisp is goated. Was the only reason I had a chance in finals at all. And you know what? Anything on the spread at all? I know the 252 HP 76 is for the Precipice Blades at max attack there because you can't intimidate them anymore. Other than that, I mean, looks pretty normal.
Is that what that's for?
Yeah, that is
I
correct.
didn't know that.
That is correct. That's this particular ensign because the Groudon is, for Eternatus, it's probably the biggest concern, given that the other ground types, you play around the other ground types pretty well, but Groudon, we don't have any like redirection or anything. So we the ability to either get the 3-hit KO if you Terra Ghost or just live one is pretty nice. 76 speed here is for 90, so under Tailwind, you're outspeeding Torn, you're not speeding Ogerpon. The rest basically just dumps into Spidef.
Yeah, that pretty much checks out. It's an instant spread, right? You hit a few calcs and you're like, yeah, it's gonna be bulky enough. I liked it overall. Like I said, only reason I had any sort of chance versus that Zamazenta in finals. Really, really quickly before we wrap this up, guys, because the team was incredible. I don't want to keep you guys crazy long. It was a ton of fun to play. Really, really quickly though, Calyrex Ice Rider. I'm just gonna look at some matchups here. Calyrex Ice Rider. I was leveraging Eternatus, Tinkaton, Urshifu, Incineroar. The Kyogre stuff, once again, that was a little bit more reliant on like the Torn, Etern, Rillaboom, Urshifu mode. I think that's pretty much it. I guess Miraidon, like we said already, kind of Rillaboom in the back. Make sure you can win the terrain control there. I struggled a lot with Sun. I played a Koraidon team, and I believe I lost, and I played a Groudon team, and I know for sure that I lost. So I think Sun is something that was giving me issues. So I wonder if there's any way we're supposed to approach that differently.
We were talking while we were watching finals, and one idea that we had was maybe Ursaluna or Rillaboom, because in Tailwind it's able to threaten a ton of damage against Sun teams. And then it also helps significantly more against Zamazenta than Rillaboom does.
Yeah. Gotta say, Rillaboom was kind of sad versus that Zamazenta in the end game. But speaking of Zamazenta, leverage Ghost, leverage Will-O-Wisp, and Prey. That's pretty much your matchup here. I mean, you can go ahead and go for like leveraging Flamethrowers off the Eternatus for some big damage. You can try to Surging Strike crit through it, maybe with like a helping hand. But I think overall your best bet into Zammy is to just Terra Ghost and get some Will-O-Wisps off in your gaming. I was a little scared of Calyrex Shadow with this team, I'm going to be honest. However, I think we can leverage that. We've got Tailwind with Banded Rillaboom. We've got Eternatus, which can at least put on some pressure because your choice specs, as long as you're in Tailwind and not dying to Expanding Force first. And an instant for some switch arounds. But I mean, it was a little scary for me as well, I'm going to be honest.
I mean, looking at it, you didn't actually play a Shadow Rider tonight, did you?
I did not, so don't worry about it.
Your round one went no show, 0-2 drop.
Gaming. No, we did no. I'm telling you what happened. Round one, they walked in, they saw Spexy Eternatus, and they're like, "I'm not dealing with this," and they left.
They just dipped for the night.
That is 100% a joke. That is not factual at all. Just in case anybody's thinking about that, that is not factual.
Yeah. All right. So, Chris, do you have any changes that you want to tell them to maybe?
Well, I agree that Zamazenta is definitely a concern here. Potentially, swapping to the Ursaluna would work, as you said. But I think if you were to innovate on this team, you would probably definitely like add another special attacker, some more consistent damage into the Zamazenta, and probably. I guess you could definitely patch up the Psy Spam matchup if you're like really concerned about that. But I think you have enough tools to work with. I mean,
yeah,
the spread is a little bit scary. That's fair.
Yeah, I agree. I think in theory we have a line into it. The question part becomes the ability to protect and try to cycle in. The tools are there. I think it's just going to be a little bit more of an uphill battle than realistically necessary if we wanted to patch that. That could be something. Also, Terapagos feels incredibly free. I played Specs once tonight. I played Clear Amulet once tonight, and I was just clicking Fake Out. I was getting the better Fake Out trades with the Tinkaton, and then I was just doing 20 times the amount of damage they were with my Eternatus, and it was just disgusting. It was really, really strong there.
Para Poison Spec Sludge Wave. When
Yes.
you put enough multipliers on anything, it does absurd damage.
Yes. They were like, how much damage do you want to do? I said yes.
It's literally, it's that quote of me and Apple, and it's just like the Miraidon calc, and I say, yes, if you throw enough modifiers on anything,
Yep.
eventually it will get an absurd calc.
So what you're saying is Eternatus is the Miraidon for Scarlet players.
Yes. Yes, for Scarlet players, those who chose wrong.
That is crazy. But first off, guys, I think we're probably going to start wrapping this one up. Is there anything else you guys want to say about the team? Anything else I may have missed?
I don't think about the team specifically, but it was very fun watching you play. I was very impressed with your play, and I think you did a great job.
Gaming. Thank you. Borgie?
I want to say thank you for having some faith in running this tonight, because it was definitely one of our more fun cooks. When I showed this to Trey earlier in the day, he said some very unkind things about it.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna go back and you're gonna say, Trey, I got somebody to run this team, and he's gonna go, no way, and you're gonna go, yeah, they got second.
That interaction has already happened. I have already done that, and he has already gotten very upset with me that I made you run this.
Oh no, it was a journey, honestly, for me yelling at you guys when you were trying to get me to run this earlier, to me just saying, screw it, I'm gonna give in to the peer pressure and run it. And to get this, it was absolutely wild. So thank you guys for forcing me and pestering me enough to run it. Thank you for building the team, and thank you, of course, for coming onto the channel. I appreciate you guys coming on. Like I said, I didn't know enough about the team. Like I said, I kind of just took it. If I was gonna do a team report, I was going to do it with the two of you. There was no way I wasn't. So thank you guys for coming on, making this happen as well in orderly fashion, because it is like 1:30 a.m. So that's wild.
I have to be up at 5 a.m. Let's go.
That's crazy. Any final shout-outs before I wrap this one up, guys?
Shout-outs to Eternatus, I guess. I mean, that
Real.
mom put in work for you.
Real.
Shout outs to Chris for working with me on this nonsense. Shout out to you for using it and having us on the channel. You're very much the homie for trusting us on this one.
I don't know if I trusted you guys as much as I was just like, you know what? They're never going to let me live it down if I don't just try to run it and see what happens. You know what? I ran it and I saw what happened. So, with
Okay,
that,
but you trust us now.
now I trust you guys. Not that I didn't before.
You finally trust me.
Well, I mean, you know what has to happen now? We have to pull out something really crazy.
No, they're gonna give me like the most crazy team next time. I'm gonna trust them blindly. I'm gonna put my blind faith into them, and it's gonna be the worst team ever.
Restaurant time.
No, we're not. No, put the restaurant back, Borgie. Put the restaurant back.
Maybe
But
keep it
with that,
I guess. Yeah.
with that one, guys, I think we are going to wrap this one up here. I believe the paste will be down below. I'm not sure if I'm going to put the rental. I don't see a reason why I wouldn't. It'll probably be down below as well. With that, though, if you guys are enjoying this type of content, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And, of course, I really do appreciate it. With that, I'm going to get on out of here. Borgie, Chris, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to get on out of here. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll catch you all in a future video.
Bye.
Have a good one.